Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are back with the Hitbox Stormgrounds number 2, day number 2 coverage. Not only do we have some fantastic games yesterday, we got a heck of another set for you today. And we're going to be jumping in first with Team Bob up against Kappa123 with your host, Four-Court Jester, and the Zoya once more. How you doing, sir?
Oh, I'm doing pretty well, man. Excited to cast these games. I'm always excited to watch Bob play. Bob formerly having ADRD of G2 and then multiple members of SK Gaming. They're a brand new team and they're looking to prove themselves, so I always enjoy watching that. But we have the draft already going, Sean and Bob, with that first ban. Gonna take out Kale Thos.
Yeah, all right. So, guys, today, best of 3 all day. And Kappa and Bob, their first map is going to be Blackheart's Bay. Not exactly something that we see a lot of in terms of a standard first pick battleground, but at the same time, a very fun one indeed. And Kael'thas is the first, Leoric is the second. Could Bob actually go home with a Zeratul first pick?
They definitely could. It's something we're seeing a lot lately. We casted a bunch yesterday. We saw a lot over the weekend in NA, where people are just happy with giving up Zeratul. It's not that big of a deal to people anymore. But they're going to go with that first pick, Zagara, walking in, the insane consistent damage, the great vision from the creep spread, and of course, the Maw.
Yeah, we have been seeing more of a tendency to actually ignore the Zeratul first pick. Zagara has a little bit of a higher priority, it seems, from game to game. But as well, I mean, Jaina as a first pick is also kind of fallen a little bit here. Could actually be if Jaina here. For Cap, it's their only pick phase going into it, and with Leoric out and Kael'thas out, there's not really too much of a threat of a support, ban out, so that we'd go down into the Lily. So Kappa, I mean, blank slate. Blackhearts could easily go into a little bit more of a PvE focus if that's what they wanted as well. Johanna is the first. Could this be the double J's with Jaina as the second?
Could very well be. I mean, it's kind of shocking to me that Jaina isn't first pick worthy. She's just so strong. She's good through all stages of the game, which some heroes lack. There's always a point in time for most heroes where they are weaker at certain talent tiers. They get either a good power boost, so they're weaker before that. Jaina doesn't really have that. She is good no matter what stage of the game, especially on a map like this where rotations are important, PvP is important, PvE is important. She can do all of that. So seeing if she doesn't get picked up here, I'd be really, really surprised.
Yeah, she's the all-in-one wonder. Definitely fills many roles, has many hats. Something that I'm definitely very familiar with there. So, Kappa, all right, they are going to actually pick up double J's. So, very solid first pick round. Zagara sitting there all by her lonesome there for Bob. So, if you had to take a guess for Blackheart's Bay, what would you pair up before you go into your next set of bands?
Well, it's tough. There's multiple playstyles on this map. This one is a really good map where you actually consistently see Abathur shine. So if they were wanting to rock an Abathur Zeratul here, they could. But we talked about this yesterday as well. When you have Zeratul Zagara on the same team, there's a lot of overlap possibility between Ma and Void Prison, which can lead to awkward situations. We actually saw it happen that game on Cursed Hollow, where something bad did end up happening. So. That's always the case. You could just go for something standard here, or locking in Rhaegar really early on is really good on this map. Rhaegar can solo any camp on the map post 4, which is really important for the coins.
All right, so we actually have an admin note here. This is not Blackheart's Bay, so we were sorry about that one, ladies and gentlemen. It looks like the team's actually selected the wrong map for the first round. It's Tomb of the Spider Queen instead. So now we see Zagara first pick, Tomb of the Spider Queen, Johanna and Jaina. Makes it a little bit more oriented towards team fighting. It also could be why Kael'thas is out as well. It's such a small map. But there it is. Zagara Zeratul. They're not willing to give up the powerful roaming combination as well as that zone control for a lot of those team fights. And Malfurion is going to end it off here for Bob. And as we go into the second bands, I got to think, could we see an Asmodee for the Johanna Jaina? This is his best battleground.
It is very possible. Very, very strong on this map as well. It's something that Bob needs to be aware of with their mid-draft band, potentially taking that out. But Kappa could also go a double warrior type style, which could also be a threat against the Zeratul. Getting double imposing versus Zeratul is very, very strong. But Kappa's going to go ahead and ban out that Muradin. Bob will see how they want to respond.
Well, they're thinking about it. All right. So if Mirrodin's out, I mean I mean, we got Johanna as the first. Leoric was the first ban. Mirrodin is. It's just. It seems to be Kappa123 has a big bias against some of these warriors. But with them out, could this actually be forcing Bob into a new Barak, a Tyrael, both at this point? We have been seeing the rise of the double tank meta, but on Tomb of the Spider Queen, will the double tanks be enough on this very small battleground?
It's tough. It's tough because, like you said, this is very rotation heavy. This map is very aggression based. So double tank. It's not the best at clearing waves, depending on which ones you get. We'll have to see if they want to lock that up. Bob still have a tough choice here. Is what they want to ban out. They can ban out healers if they're afraid of a certain one. They're thinking really, really hard on it. Nubrak is going to be banned out, so that limits the double warrior option. I like this a lot. If Capo does want to go double warrior, it'll be an unoptimal style, right? Tyrael Joanna is not that great. Arthas Joanna, not that great. So I don't mind that because as a solo warrior, both Arthas and Tyrael kind of would fit the same spot. So I don't think Bob cares who they get. I don't know. I like that. I think that was a really smart draft, or really like a cute thing to do from them.
So if we do actually end up with Johanna, Jaina, and Arthas, and there's the Azmodan that we were talking about a little bit earlier as well. I mean, that's going to be kind of hell for not only Zeratul, but Zagara as well. You're not going to get any kind of creep placements. You can't creep around as stealth without the threat of a lot of that soft CC stacking up there as well. And now with the Azmodan on top of it, that's some big burst to come down on top of any kind of big setup in that regard. But it does come down to, thinking about it, Tyrael, Arthas are probably the two front runners here. We saw an ETC yesterday, but it wasn't exactly the results that they were kind of looking for. And, past that, it's what? Chen? Arthas? Diablo? Don't really get to see them much these days, though.
Yeah, it's when you think about it, the warrior pool is actually huge, right? There are so many warriors in this game, and a lot of them actually aren't that bad. ETC, at the bottom of the playable list, but he's like necessarily not that bad. It's just other warriors are much better. So hopefully we get to see tweaks of those soon. Like I'd like to see a much deeper warrior pool. It's not like the supports where there's actually only 5 supports. Sometimes you look at the warrior list and you're like, oh man, there's not much to play. But there's a lot of good warriors in this game, and they could be a lot better too. It'd be cool to see those rise up. And Bob having their last 2 picks, they do need that tank. They could go ETC here. I don't think that would be that great, though. ETC, it doesn't really work anymore unless you have that Uther, and even then, it's very, very gimmicky to play. So more than likely going to see that Arthas, unless they do something really, really weird. You never know with Bob. Like, we could see, like, a tankless Illidan style come out from them, and they just go, 4 damage. Like, it's ADRD, right? He's their master drafter, so you can never know with these guys.
Man, if we actually saw, especially after a lot of those nerfs to the unstoppable frames, the metamorphosis damage, and kind of stuff, if we don't put up a warrior, I am going to be really surprised. But Tychus is going to be the follow-up here. So Zagara and Tychus to kind of sit there in the back. Again, we got a lot of zone control ready to go with Zagara, with Zeratul. Arthas, ETC, Chen, Diablo. No, all right, Zoya. We are in for a game. My goodness. That's Zebo to follow that one up. Now, you said warriorless with Illidan. At least he has, some self-sustain, some evasion,
True.
The metamorphosis. We don't have any of that with any of these guys.
Yeah, this is definitely different. They have the double pushers with the Zebo Zagara, which is scary. You have the great disengage with Maul, VP. You can throw those down to try and kite away. Tychus, great wave clear. If they do end up going melting point, most people go the overkilled build. But this is really cool. This is an interesting style. I don't think it should work out. If I'm being honest, it shouldn't work. But I'm excited to see it play.
I have absolutely no idea how effective this will be. All right, so if you see it a not warrior comp whatsoever, Kappa, they need a healer at this point. There's no way we're going to see a warriorless versus a supportless. That's just not going to happen. But the double warrior Jaina Johanna, like the front line is already immense. There's the Uther to add the shield on top of this. Oh, that was a random pick. The site lagged out, and Bob didn't click a warrior.
Oh. Okay, that makes more sense too.
Thank goodness. That would have been quite the game. So I don't actually know what the rules are on a leg out.
Yeah. We'll let them figure that out. And let's figure out how, like, let's talk about Kappa123's composition. You got the Asmon and Joanna, which is just terrifying. If you hit 16, it is one of the more difficult compositions to deal with. You have Jaina, who's strong in the early game, who can carry the Asmon to the late game. You have Uther Tyrael, who are very aggressive heroes in lane and in team fights. Kappa123, they have a really well-rounded composition, and I'm excited to see it play out.
Well, Escape is saying, don't worry, it's okay. So I don't actually know if that means that they're going to keep it. Tychus equals Stitches, I was told. Okay. So the Tychus is going to be a Stitches instead. So we don't have a Tychus.
Just keep the Tychus, Bob. Just don't go for Stitches. What?
It looks like that's going to be the final ruling there. So it's going to be Stitches, Malfurion, Nazebo, Zagara, Zeratul. That will be the final comp here, according to the in-game. So there you go. It's funny because Stitches is one of the only warriors that we didn't list on that actual list, right?
So like Temple Storm's currently working on a tier list. I think we put Stitches at the actual bottom.
The actual bottom. I like it.
Like
the bottom.
The very bottom of like the entire tier list, not just warriors, just the entire tier list. He's bad. Why, Bob? Why?
All right, well, let's think about it, though, for a minute. Johanna, Jaina, Asmodee, and Tyrael were all picked already. So by the time we got to a Stitches, the only person that could escape a hook would be Tyrael. And, they have Zagara, they got Zeratul, they got Roots, and now they got Nazebo as well. If they play a little bit of, hooky around, and then, zombie wall or the Roots, could work. There's not a lot of escapes on the team. Kappa.
You're right. There are a lot of ways to catch your opponent. If you get a pick, right? If you get the hook, you VP, you trap everyone else, you kill the target. You maul, you trap everyone, you kill the target. You zombie wall, you do that. So there is that aspect of it. It's gonna work though.
Well, the theory is sound, but yeah, that's an excellent question. Will this be enough to actually solidify home a win here on the first game of this best of 3? So Kappa123 and Bob, they got those drafts ready to go, and we're going to be loading into the game here in just a few, ladies and gentlemen. Let's take this opportunity, though, to give a little homage to our sponsors, because SteelSeries is once again being the generous sponsor here for the Hitbox Stormgrounds, and we have a giveaway. You can win yourself 2 of the Sensei Raw Heroes of the Storms editions, or one of the QCK mouse pads that they're running, and all you have to do is tweet us with your Hitbox username and use the hashtag Stormgrounds in your tweet to join the Stormgrounds giveaway, powered by SteelSeries. Big thanks to them. Some really sexy loot just for you guys, just for showing up, just for supporting your favorite teams. It's a heck of a thing for them to do, and we give them big kudos for that.
Yeah, it's really awesome. I used to use the Sensei Raw for a long time. It's a really good mouse. And it's awesome that they're still it's Heroes of the Storm, like it's Brandon with Heroes of the Storm. Why wouldn't you want that? That's so cool.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Tomb of the Spider Queen is now coming into effect. Collect the gems, turn them in, summon the web weavers. Those cutie little web weavers. All they just want to do is help. They're like Jaina. They're here to help. And, give them enough gems and they'll come to your aid. It's good times. You're going to be looking for possibly a lot of rotations with the Stitches. I wouldn't expect him to be in a laning situation, Zoya.
Yeah, he's probably going to be roaming around Stitches. When he used to have really good damage, was a fantastic roamer. But that's really not the case anymore. We'll have to see if this is something that they are going to do, is roam around, go for those picks. Zeratul Stitches is a great roam squad. Jaina Stitches is a great roam squad as well. So yeah, I really don't know how they're going to play this out. It's been so long since we've seen, like, I think we saw, I saw EU run Stitches on Haunted Mines not long ago, and that's the most recent time I've seen Stitches.
Yeah, it's been a little bit of a while, I'll tell you that. Okay, so I gotta actually remember how to observe.
Yeah, moving a mouse, that's tough.
Maybe I don't have Ali's interface. Okay, doesn't matter. I'm not the camera today. All right, on the left-hand side, ladies and gentlemen, we do have G280RD, Snitch, Zarmony, Athero Angel, and Bakery. I believe that they make up Team Bob, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
And on their opponents on the other side, Tomzy, Descape, Acer, Zypho, Rip Acer, my goodness, Alistar, and Conti. They're going to be making up Kappa123 here on your right-hand side, as we already have a little bit of damage on the board from Asmodan, tossing out an orb, just looking to see who's in that vent. We did find a few targets. In terms of the talents coming down, we do see the return of Moonburn from Bakery. It's not going to be that scouting probe, Mr. Zoe.
Yeah, it's going to be Moonburn. We talked about this yesterday. It's great in lane. Super powerful talent. It just gives... It's what was Mouth was weak before, right? He never could lane. He was one of the weakest laners in the game. He had great sustain healing. He had the survivability. He even had burst when you used that Protect Shield, as a good hook does go down into zombie wall action. Nice execution there. But it finally gave him what he needs, right? It's he can lane, which is really, really important for his kit.
Alright, so it does look like we're setting up for the roam on at least Kappa123. Zypho, Alistar, Descape, they're going from lane to lane. They're trying to play the stacking game at this round. So, you know, having Descape go back and forth and trying to clean up a lot of the waves between the Johanna and the Asmodan. That's kind of like the big key to it. But the Jaina on top of it just makes it really easy to land a lot of these. A big hook goes out on top of Zypho. He's going to be looking for some damage, but it's going to be the return Malfurion. He's actually going to be the first blood as he drops from the return pressure of Descape and Alistar. So it's really hard to take down a Johanna by yourself, guys.
Yeah, a really tanky warrior, one of the tankiest with that trait. She's very hard to kill, almost indestructible, some would say. And we do see that the stacks are still being built here. Yeah, big wave coming out in this bottom lane that Zagara's having to deal with. Zagara, well, she's so good on this map, man. It's no surprise that she was first picked here. It's a really, really, really strong pickup.
Alright, so we're just going back to that stacking game. Athero Angel actually going to get a good visit here in the mid. He goes down low, but Zypho is actually going to get hit there by Bakery for that return takedown. Johanna finally actually will bite the dust, as we do put a kill on the board there from Bob on the left-hand side. Zagara's kind of left her own devices bottom. We do not really have a lot of hit points remaining there on Jaina. She's going to take a bit of a break. Tom's into the top, and Zarmony, they've just been kind of going back and forth, but it's really hard to go up against the sustain of Nazeebo as that Tyrael, especially if you're going to get a lot of these unfavorable trades. Zarmony so far bullying him around as we just once more return to the stacking game here in the mid.
Yeah, it's the cool thing about Nazeebo is he's got such a long range poke, right? He can safely do his harass, does good damage, and he can push at the same time.
Yeah, Zagara's about to bite the dust here as well, Zoya. Snitch could very possibly. Oh, the orb from downtown, Zeratul as well. Again, you know, a lot of that slowing magic coming in. Jaina really setting that one up very nicely. We did have a point blank hook there on top of Zypho, but Athero Angel not really able to make much of it happen. And just throwing orb after orb from mid lane to escape. Been picking up not only those creep kills, but he's been very helpful in those two takedowns as well. And once more, again, you're like that stacking game. It's very potent on this battleground.
Well, we do see that it will be the Arcane Intellect taken at level 4 over the increased Blizzard Radius, and that seems to be a pretty big split on where teams think they should go with the Jaina build right now. We do see it's between those two talents, and maybe it's just more stylistically why they don't go that way, and everything else looking pretty normal at these tiers. No one doing anything too weird. We are seeing that General of Hell upgrade, the promoted minion on Asmodan, which I think that's starting to fall off a bit. People are starting to go the increased siege damage, minion damage with your...
Ooh, Alistar. Ooh, right off the back of it's really good roots right there. Jaina is actually going to be the one to drop. A 4-man gank needed to happen there from Bob in order to kind of seal the deal. But hey, I mean, they put another point on the board. They really are trying their best to stop out this Asmodan. And nobody at all is even, like, touching the top. It's all about this mid. And speaking of, Snitch is there. He is going to get hit by a blind as he's trying to just bring down that Johanna. Good roots going out as well as the unstoppable fade, but it's not enough time for the hook to come back up. Bakery, however, too far forward, looking for that last shot on Zypho, and is going to pay for it with his life as he now drops. And just seems to me like it's bloody and fantastic going back and forth here, Zoe, because they are just trying and trying so hard to take out each other, and overextension into overextension seems to be the name of this early game.
Yeah, it's both teams playing a bit too greedy here, going for these kills. Maybe they got something to prove here. Maybe there's a little bit of rivalry, but we're seeing these guys really dive deep for these kills, and it's not really working out at times. So we see a lot of deaths.
Yeah, big hook into a big Jaina on the back of the blue web weavers as well. So far, you know, the hooks haven't actually been that bad. I mean, if you clear out some of this creep wave, you can actually get some pretty big value. And so far, 3 takedowns to 4 back and forth. We've turned in for blue, and the web weavers are coming out to it, but still going back and forth. Just a very close early game.
Yeah, it's really well done. Stitches is something considerable to like Kerrigan, right? If you don't play against Kerrigan for a while, you forget to respect the combo. You're gonna get killed time and time again. Every time Kerrigan falls out the meta, she upsurges and then just like dominates everyone. That's the same with Stitches. You have to respect the hook. You have to be mindful of that positioning, or you're just gonna get free kills.
Well, that hook actually took down a minion. I mean, I'm sure the minion deserved it, but not all of them are going to be winners. Still, the siege into the mid has actually yielded a tower. Looks like bottom has actually yielded the entire gate, as AD Artie has just been able to clear pretty much uncontested at this point. Zypho and Conti thinking about going down, but Zero Angel's there and is able to just intercept the the Johanna, and she's just going to go back to mid. There's going to be a hook. We're looking for the Ruth. Blind and the Blinken from Snitch. They are going to bring her low, but once more, she will just get out of that one. Not exactly healthy, but still, her hide is intact. Into the top, Zarmany and Tomsy. Zarmany has just, again, been putting the irons to Tyrael. Can't really believe that nobody has come up here as of yet, but that's 2 sets of gates down, and level 10 there as well. Zoya, and now Zypho. I don't think he's getting out of this one. All 4 members with ults are coming up here. The VP's out on top of Conti. Escape not going to be hitting that one. Would you believe that Zypho can just walk out of that unharmed? Quite amazing what Johanna can do.
Really well done there. Great execution. I love the way Bob's playing this composition right now. Like, you see the Nazebos are completely sitting to the top. Zagar sitting in the bottom. And all they're doing is pushing right now. And despite the kills being in favor of Kappa123, this push from ADRD is doing work in the bottom lane. The push in the top lane is doing wonders as well. It's just a really, really great, well-rounded composition, and they're executing it perfectly so far.
The double specialist is definitely something that you see more and more of, and you know, on this battleground, even, you know, the solo pushes, as you said, they have been doing wonderful jobs, and they've largely gone uncontested because of that Azmodan. But into the bottom, it's going to be the Blessed Shield. AD Artie's a big target. Jaina and Conti were there. The dunk from downtown is enough to escape, is able to take home Zagara on the back of even a good mob from her. Now Ethereal Angel, she's going to get judgmented and laser-handed. That's going to be a Stitches now down, as the rest of the crew is now just going to try to claw back some of that experience, looking for those towers. The gate is going to fall, and it is out of there. They got red web weavers now coming down on the docket here as well. So a really nice set of plays coming out from Kappa123.
Yeah, really well executed. You have to keep in mind with Bob's composition, you can't be the initiator, you can't be an aggressor. You can only go for picks with a Stitches style composition, even with the Putrid Bile. You don't have the best kiting, you don't have the best disengage. Like, Stitches can't peel for you anymore. Not with his current talent set. He used to be able to, but not anymore. So when you get caught out of position, what Stitch is going to do for you? Hook them towards you even closer? Like, it's not. You have to be sitting back, and you have to go for these picks, or these kind of collapses are going to keep happening.
Alright, so the pushes here. Mid is going to get cleaned up in relatively short order from Bob. You got the 3-man collapse there. Snitch and Tomsy actually going toe-to-toe, but Tomsy is feeling much better about that matchup this round. And Zarmany's actually cleaned up the top as well, so not a fort to the name of Kappa123, but they have now cleaned up a few towers there mid. They have not touched the top whatsoever, and it looks like they are thinking about disengaging a little bit from here. They don't have those heroic timers up yet, and remember, they are playing that stacking game. Speaking of the stacks, let's just give you an update. It is 198 damage thus far for Escape.
Okay, that's okay for what's been going on. You know, there's been a lot of aggressions. You have to play safer versus the Stitches as well, so it's not, you know, the most insane farm game ever. But he's at the point where he can solo farm now with the Black Pool, which is good for him. We'll be able to see that growing and growing, and we're getting close to those 13 talents, and this is where it gets a lot easier for Kappa. You know, they get the ice block on Jaina. They can, you know, if she does get picked, and that's going to help out a lot for her. We've seen her get hooked hooked a few times, and that ice block gives her enough time to get Uther in range for the Divine Shield and those big heals.
Alright, so we have back-to-back web weavers now coming down. Red has once more taken a little bit more of the map control. Kappa123 on the back of the push has another one going, but mid is just going to get cleaned up ridiculously quick. 788 damage on those orbs as Escape cleans up a little bit of that mid push. Top is still going strong. Bottom is getting cleaned up by Snitch once more. So this is where I'd want to see Kappa get a fort out of this one. I mean, they got those level 13 towns coming in. This is their second set of web weavers. They don't have the gems for a third. And it's going to come down to what they can do with this last web weaver standing.
They're pushing in pretty hard right now. It's going to be tough for them to. This is all you can do as Bob is just.
Oh, sorry, there's a big judgment. Tomsy's going in, but he goes right into a zombie wall. We got a Maw out there as well, a two-man Maw, and the collapse is going to be good here from Bob. Everybody's now in the retreat. Zypho popping that unstoppable. We already have the shield on Conti. Snitch with that blink is able to take down the Johanna, and not only does Team Bob actually keep out their forts, but 2 takedowns to the name as well. That was a heck of a counter comp right there.
Yeah, it was really, really well done. That's the power of this composition, right? You get the hook, you land the VP in the backline. We saw him isolate 2 people with that. And then the other 3 members judgmented in, and the other 2 ran up. Those 2 got hit by a Maw. It was absolute isolation coming out from Bob, and they executed that really, really well, despite getting collapsed upon them. They didn't lose a member, and the fact that ADRD didn't die there is huge for them.
Alright, Conti and crew, they were just making sure that there was no boss going on, but to their surprise, Bob was there. They are able to put up enough pressure to reset. Conti somehow not able to actually go down. Ethereal Angel didn't quite hit with the hook at the end of it, but now Tomsy is actually returning a little bit of pressure there on top of Ethereal Angel. He's not getting anywhere, though, because of the Malfurion heal, so he's just going to disengage out of that. But still, they set up the disengage for the boss. It happened. The top fort did go down with those last web weavers. In fact, that's the first fort of the game now, as we're looking at to get into our level 15s. And, you know, Snitch, he's into the bottom. We do actually have a lot more people towards the mid, towards the top. And we are trying to find those last 6 gems to turn in here for Bob.
Yeah, they're desperately looking to do that. They are so close. They have so many on them. They're trying to get that in themselves. Levels 15
there we go.
almost.
Stitch has it.
Stitch has it? Okay, good. That's a big push opportunity for them. They have not taken any forts yet, despite how strong their push was in the early game, so they're definitely going to be wanting to capitalize on this right now.
Yeah, this will make it 2 turn-ins to 2, I believe. Now, the first push, if you recall, from Bob, was able to take almost every single gate, and now here at the 12-minute mark, this next push is definitely aiming to be a lot more damaging. Zypho is actually going to get caught a little bit out of position. Ethereal Angel pushes him off. I was curious to see if we were going to look for a hook over the wall, but no such luck. 4-man showing there into the bottom. It's only Asmodan here mid. Nobody into the top as of yet. We got a little bit of a buffer with those creep waves coming in, and it does look like the collapse here into mid is going to be good. Bob is looking to set up for that mid fort, and I think they're going to grab it here just momentarily, as here comes the rest of Kappa for that pressure. Ethereal Angel, it's going to be the big target. We got an ice block out. It's going to be enough for Zarmany, at least for now. We got Ethereal Angel throwing down the Putrid Vial. We had a VP there as well. Bakery popping out that trank. Nobody really hurt yet from Bob. There goes the Judgment. Tomsy looking to set up. That's a good orb, and there goes Zagara because of the burst at the tail end there of that Tranquility there as well. Big ice block coming out from Alistar. Is that going to be enough? 1 moon burn. It's not going to be enough at all. Gets a good heal at the end of it, and by the time the dust settles, Zoya, it looks like it will just be the 1 takedown, but 2 forts to the name of Bob.
We saw it in that fight. It was we talked about it before. The overlap with VP and Maw. VP went down. A half second later, Maw went down in the exact same spot, completely wasting that heroic. That is the dangers of running Zeratul and Zagar together. I feel like that fight could have been completely different. It was Zarmany getting caught a little bit of opposition, had to use Ice Block way too early. But if Maw wasn't completely wasted there, I think that would have been a different fight.
Absolutely would have been. And, you know, at the end of the fighting as well, another set of web weavers coming in for blue. They did have a big build-up that we were just talking about before that. So this is going to be the back-to-back fishing hook, I think, on Ethereal. Yes, it is. And he's just kind of testing out his new power there. Unfortunately, didn't quite hit anything. But now, 2 forts, I might have misspoken, 3 forts. All forts are actually down. And now the lanes are pushing in. Bob, with the level advantage, slight as it is, there could be actually be pushing in for a keep now.
Yep, they're looking to put on the aggression here. At back-to-back web weavers is huge for this team. They've got so much push with it. Level 16 talents is huge for these teams as well. It just makes them pushing. Rending cleave is a bit interesting to me on Zeratul. If you're usually going rending cleave, you usually go the increased radius at 1, but I'm not opting to have that combo together.
This is more of an EU thing than I think anywhere else. Don't really get to see a lot of regions running it, but at the same time, it helps you get in, get out, get your poke done, and you're back to safety with the wormhole. And so far, you know, safety is the name of the game. Everybody's kind of keeping very safe here from Bob. They got all their heroics ready to go, and this top keep is getting pushed in, but unfortunately, it looks like everything's just going to get cleaned up. There's no more keep pressure, and it's still very healthy. Now we're looking for the disengage. It's an ice block on top of his armor. He does stop out that Orb of Annihilation from Escape. Still, Void Prison is going to go on. It's a 3-man Void. Snitch is there to just get some damage on top of Zypho, but there's no follow-up at all. Everybody comes out of that. Tomze in the front. He's going to be a big target, but he looks like he's going to actually live out of this one. Conti with the heals has been pretty much on point. Amaz going down. Here comes the Putrid Bile as well as Zero. Too far forward. There's no one to help him. And the shield, it's going to keep Escape up. Throws out an orb. 1100 damage, and Johanna's going to drop as well. Now it's the retreat here from Bob. The Tranquility trying to keep Zarmony up. Bakery's out of mana. ADRD's getting body blocked by Tomze, but it's Snitch on top of Escape. Asmodan is going to drop. Tomze now looking low. Snitch needs to get one more auto attack on Alistar. Couldn't hit with the cleave. Needed that level 1 talent you're talking about. And Tomze with the skin of his teeth. Alistar, nope, not going to be getting out of that one as the blink comes up. But still, at the end of it, 3 kills for 1. Bob coming out ahead, and they will get that keep at the end of it.
In a really long, drawn-out fight there, that just goes to show you the sustain of this composition. Zagar and Azebo having that ability to just constantly do damage throughout that fight and slowly whittle down the point. It looked like outside of that VP, nothing was going to happen for Bob because they didn't really capitalize on it. They didn't get the hook they needed, but they were able to turn that around with a great Maw. And, you know, Malfurion, the sustained healer, right? He's got the inner base, he's got the great overtime healings, really showing why he's powerful in that composition versus the Uther. Uther could not keep up his team through that much damage for that long of a time.
Yeah, we talk a lot about distributed damage models, and Zuther's not one of those guys that kind of can deal with them. But you know, speaking of some damage, that's going to be a hook. Unstoppable finally coming out there from Zypho. He does throw out the Blessed Shield there, I think, as well. Did I lie about that one? Blessed Shield. Nope, that totally was a Blessed Shield. So the Blessed Shield for the Escape. That's not exactly how you want to be using that one. So we have a little bit of a window here from Bob. If they do want to go for a team fight, they don't have to deal with that Johanna ult.
Well, they have plenty of gems on them too, so they can just get another Web Weaver turn, and this is the 3 fastest Web Weavers I've seen in a long time. I don't know if they are going to get this in. It looks like they should be able to though. And that is just more and more pressure. I can't believe bottom fort is still standing, though, as how hard Zagara was pushing that in at the beginning of the game. And they should be looking to pressure more of the map here.
All right, level 20 has been achieved. Bob, now finally with that Storm Tier Towns. Triple bolts going in. Hardened Shield, Nexus Blades, random hook from Ethereal Angel. It's going to keep Conti from turning. He has 54 gems if he can actually get this turn in, and he will. It will be another set of Web Weavers. Despite the best efforts of Snitch and Ethereal, Conti will actually summon once more the red side of things, but a good hook. And here comes the Roots on top of Zypho as well. Finally, the Unstoppable will come out of this one, but Snitch, he bolts forward. He's looking for that body block. Could this actually be the end of Johanna? It is. There's no Blessed Shield ready to go, and she is just going to drop, and now the body blocks are good enough. Uther here at the level 18 mark, no redemption. He's going to be out. Tomze as well, the hook at the end of it. Tyrael with the triple kill. Bob, they're the ones that actually don't have the Web Weavers, but they're the ones who are pushing in.
Yeah, this is a huge play for them. Like to see them get a keep here, maybe 2. They've got 40 seconds where the rest of their team is down, and you know, the Asmodan's not gonna. Jaina shouldn't be enough poke versus the support play here from Bakery. The Malfurion is just too strong. They might actually look like they go into core here. They have plenty of time, and that's a huge play.
Yeah, big plays coming in. They can't actually take down Bakery. Escape and Zarmony, I mean, that's a lot of burst, but we still got ice blocks, we still got heals, and it's going to be enough. Snitch on the other side of this one. Zagara is finally going to drop. Could this actually be enough? Snitch is now dropping out as well. That's 2 of the DPS. Zarmony is about to drop, but it is at the 1% mark, and there it is. Ethereal Angel, Bakery, and crew on Bob are going to take game number 1 of this best of 3 here for the EU Steel Series Hitbox Stormgrounds.
really fun composition to watch play out. The hooks were on point. We did see a few whiffed VPs. Where not much was done with them. We saw if one overlap of Maw VP where it just you completely wasted Maw. But outside of that, the execution from Bob was really well done. The fact that they were doing so good of a job of maintaining their gem counts despite getting picks is also huge because we saw those back-to-back two turn-ins in a row, and then the potential third that could have happened there at the end. That snowballed Bob's what could they have done? Kappa, they had no wave clear outside of the Jaina Asmo. They couldn't constantly just keep shoving out these lanes versus the Zagar and Azebo. The push was just too much for them to deal with, and it just snowballed their lead even further and further.
Zen, there's something to be said about these double specialist comps. They were basically soloing their lanes. That let the other three kind of deal with the roaming, stacking nature of Escape and Crew. I didn't actually get a count of the stacks by the end of it, but if he's hitting about 1,200 with the Black Pool, you're looking at somewhere, what, in the 350, 400 range?
Sounds like low 300s to me.
Yeah. Yeah, but still, I mean, not a bad effort for the stacks, especially since we did actually have so much pressure from Bob, just trying to go against that. If you can take down the Johanna or keep her out, if you can take the Jaina away, it really does hinder that stacking ability early. And just like what we normally see with teams with Asmodan early, it's really hard to kind of get big snowball pressure because you kind of got to play that game. You're going for the late, and unfortunately, the late in this time just didn't happen for Kappa123. Bob really knowing how to shut down that comp.
Yeah, it was just really well executed, guys. But this is a best of three. We're going to go into game number 2 shortly after this quick break. I am Zoya, and with me is Forecourt Jester. We'll be back very soon.